All right, so tonight in our journal, we're going to add some more notes. Last night's notes were on collecting like terms and variables on both sides. Tonight, our notes are going to be on complex equations, aka multi-step, as in lots of steps. So wherever you are on your next page, we're just going to do a couple of examples. I do want you to make sure you are referring back to our notes from the previous night regarding these 5 steps we discussed, because that is going to be what we're looking at today. We're going to use all of those steps. So if I gave you the equation 3x minus 2 times the sum of x and 3 is equal to 5 minus 2x. So there's a lot going on here. So if we refer back to what step 1 was distribute. Well, I do have a distribute. Now keep in mind that this is a negative 2 that we're going to distribute all the way through. This is why I tell you to show me all of your steps, because this is going to be a lot of steps and it's going to come down kind of like an upside down triangle as we write it. So I'm going to write what I'm not messing with. So 3x, negative 2 times x is a negative 2x. Negative 2, this is a positive 3. So times is a negative 6. And I'm just going to rewrite the rest of this. So step 2 on our notes from yesterday were collect like terms. Well, remember, collecting like terms are on the same side of the equals. I have no like terms over here. I have a variable and I have a whole number. But over on the left side, these are 2 variables. So if you recall, collecting like terms, we add and subtract. So this is going to be subtraction because there is a minus. 3x minus 2x is just x. You could put a 1 there if you want. Remember, it is invisible. You don't have to. Minus 6, and again, we're writing everything else. So now this looks like what we did yesterday, right? Variables on both sides. We said move the smaller if you can. So I have a positive 1x and I have a negative 2x. So I know negative 2 is smaller than positive 1. So I need to move this one. And again, that's an inverse. Remember, with collecting like terms, we're adding and subtracting. Variables on both sides, we're adding and subtracting only. So I'm going to add 2x to this side and this side. Remember, what you do on one side, you do the other. So now I have 3x's minus 6 is equal to 5. This becomes 0. It's gone. We don't need to rewrite it. Now this looks like what we did in 6th and 7th grade. So I need to do the inverse of add, subtract. I have a subtract 6 here. This is multiplying. I'm not doing anything with that yet. So I'm going to add 6 to both sides. A negative 6 and a positive 6 is 0. 3x equals 11. And now my last step is my inverse, multiply, divide. I am multiplying by 3, so the inverse is divide by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1x, which is important. We want that variable alone and positive. We can write this as 11/3. We can also change this to an improper fraction. 3 goes into 11 3 times with 2/3 left over. I would prefer this way with the improper. This is not technically wrong. If you wrote 3.6 with a repeat bar, that is technically correct as well. Let's do one more example, and then I'm going to ask you to try one. And tomorrow when you come into class, we'll look at some word problems. So here is a second example. Not quite as complicated, but still we'll have quite a bit going on. So let's, this is actually number 2A on your page, but I don't like the way the book writes it, so we're just going to write it ourselves. So we're going to say 5x plus 8 is equal to 3x minus 3. And again, according to our steps, distributing is first. Now, I don't have any distributing, therefore I don't need to do that right now. Second step, collect like terms. Again, I don't have any of that. So this is very much like what we did the other day. I do have variables on both sides. I'm going to move the smaller. So I know 3x is smaller than 5x. Remember, when you have variables on both sides, you're only adding or subtracting. The inverse of a positive 3x is negative 3x. So I have 2x plus 8 is equal to negative 3. Make sure you bring that whole negative down. A lot of times people just write 3 and it messes up their problem. Undo or inverse, add, subtract. So I'm going to subtract 8. 2x is equal to negative 3 and a negative 8. These signs are the same, so we are going to add. Keep the sign, negative 11. Inverse, multiply, divide by 2. X is equal, I will take negative 11 over 2. Keep in mind, you can write your negative in the top, you can write it in the middle, you can write it in the bottom. They're all the same. I would also take negative 5 1/2. I would also take negative 5.5. I would like for you to try, you can either do it in your pages or you can do it in your journal. This is number 2B. I would like you to try 2 times the sum of 4y and 3 is equal to 16. So this one has some other steps that you're going to skip, but still kind of doing some of them. We will come back together tomorrow and we'll talk about removing fractions and we'll talk about word problems.